From the Denver Broncos Media Center, welcome to Broncos Country Tonight with Ryan Edwards and Benjamin Allbright.
All right, welcome to Broncos Country Tonight, breaking down the Broncos-Cowboys matchups. And, of course, as a lot of people probably expect, the Cowboys are a pretty good team. And this is going to be a tough challenge. I say specifically on the Cowboys offense. Across the board, they're top three, if not top five, in almost every statistical category. The only thing that they struggle in at all really is the red zone. And, again, I think some of that doesn't really necessarily matter because they score from some of these deep shots that they take between CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper. They might even have Michael Gallup back for this game. So let's start with the offense of the Cowboys and how you would like to defend them.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head right there when you were talking about it. It's a talented offense that likes to take deep shots, but they struggle in the red zone. So if I'm the Denver Broncos, we're laying back and bend, don't break. We're taking that game plan, or at least the philosophy that we had against Kansas City last year in the second game, and applying it here. We'll give you the stuff in front of us. We're going to make you kick field goals with the unreliable Greg Zuerlein.
Yeah, they average 32 points per game.
Right. This is our philosophy. We're going to take you from 32, hopefully down to about 20 or 21 points, right? And if we can do that, and our offense can get 21 to 24, we can win this football game. Now, asking the Broncos offense to get 24 points is begging for a miracle. But punt Shermer, if he can get this stuff together, he might be able to get some points on the board. Maybe the Broncos get a spark from the absence of Von Miller. This defense gets fired up. This offense gets fired up, and you get one of these games where you pull it off.
That's a good way to frame it, the spark, because you got a sense of that from Justin Simmons as he was speaking up there. He kind of talked a little bit about how, because he was asked a lot about the void of leadership and asked a little bit about, where they're at. And he kind of said, look, in the end, it's all lip service. We got to go out there and prove to people that we're not tanking or punting the season.
There was a very specific comment made by Justin about with Von Miller being gone, that the Broncos are still all in on the season. We're almost better now for it. Very specific quote from him on that. And that quote was a reference to kind of the attitude of the locker room over the last couple of years, which is Von Miller saying this is the way we've done things. Well, guess what, Von? You're the last guy left from the Super Bowl team. Your message isn't necessarily resonating with this defense. There's not a Chris Harrison and Aqib Talib in this locker room. TJ Ward, those people don't exist. And so this new locker room has a new mentality and doing things the way you've always done it. Wasn't getting it done. So now you get some of those other voices that wanted to do things a little bit differently. Now they're in charge. And that may or may not lead to more wins, but it's definitely going to be different.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a shift there. So the Cowboys offense, so that's the identity of this team. They've improved on the defensive side of the ball, and I have to give credit to Dan Quinn. I think that if you watch the games, they certainly look like a more disciplined defense. That's something that they had not been for many years.
Well, Dallas's defense was a joke last year. It was a joke. You could score a will on it. I forget what the exact number of points they gave up was, but it's horrendous. Dan Quinn has come in there and revitalized that defense. They play hard, they play fast, they fly to the football. But the big thing about that defense is it tries to turn you over. And with Trayvon Diggs, they do that. If you can stay consistent and not turn the football over, this is the Teddy Bridgewater game, right? Of the two quarterbacks going into this game, the one you'd want is Teddy Bridgewater, the guy who's going to be efficient, nickel and dime you, and not turn the football over. If Teddy Bridgewater cannot turn the football over and get them into scoring position and trade field goal for field goal, this team's going to have a chance. That's how you beat this defense.
It's actually interesting you bring that up. That's exactly where I wanted to go. They're 27th in yards per play, over 6 yards per play they give up. You can move the ball against the Dallas Cowboys. You watch these games, teams move the ball at will, but they have 14 takeaways on the season. They are third in the league in takeaways. So that you are 100% right. It's basically their whole motto is that what we're going to do is we're going to bait you into the takeaway. We're going to get the takeaway with Trayvon Diggs or whatever. And they don't even get a lot of sacks. So there's not really a lot of other things in the defense. Like I said, they're better than they were for sure. But they're also a bad red zone defense. They're one of the last teams in the league at red zone. They almost 70% conversion rate in the red zone. So I'm just saying you're spot on with your analysis there. If you watch these games, you watch this teams move the ball against them. They just make the mistake of getting behind because that offense is so prolific, and then they have to start throwing the ball a ton.
You cannot abandon the run. And then on offense, you're going to have to use curls, comebacks, back shoulder, switch verticals to set things up. You're not going to be able to dump down to the running back all game. That's not going to get it done. So you're going to have to use the back shoulder fade quite a bit against cover 3, which is what they mostly run. You're going to have to use that back shoulder fade in order to be able to make sure, and the comebacks in order to make sure that you're able to move the ball against them. Those are not necessarily things Teddy's comfortable doing. There's some in-breaking route stuff you should be using, but Teddy doesn't throw in-breaking routes. He throws out-breaking routes. So, I think you're going to have to be careful, and you're going to have to get enough protection out of your offensive line to get the deep over, because those are the soft spots in that cover 3 that you're going to be able to attack.
And so that brings the next point up is it's going to be Calvin Anderson there at left tackle. What are your concerns there?
I'm not too concerned. Calvin Anderson played well in relief of Garrett Bowles every time we've seen him out there. He's not Garrett Bowles, but he's played well. He hasn't been a liability. I'm more concerned with the right side of the line, Graham Glasgow and Bobby Massey, who have been a liability all year. On the flip side of that, Teddy Bridgewater has, according to NFL's Next Gen Stats, 2.91 seconds time to throw on average. That would place him in the longest time to throws in the NFL, among the top 6 longest time to throws, which means he's getting plenty of protection. So we're going to have to figure out how to get the ball out of Teddy's hands quicker, but also slow him down through progressions. He goes through progressions too quickly, but then he winds up at that last progression and stares it down. You're going to have to let that first one develop just a tick longer before you get to that second and then that third in order to make things work out. I think if Teddy can do that, he can be a better quarterback, and I think if he can do that, he can win this football game.
So, and remarkably, and again, people might even snicker at the whole win this football game, but remarkably, if they play within themselves, they absolutely could stay in this game and make it a fourth quarter game, and then you never really know. Mm-hmm. So this isn't David and Goliath, because I don't even think the Dallas Cowboys are the best team in the NFC, but this is a team, maybe even the best team they've seen all season, and it's going to be on the road. It's going to be a really tough one that they're going to have to kind of be dialed in for the whole thing, and they're probably not going to be able to win it ugly like they were able to win against Washington. They're going to have to play clean football. They're going to have to play smart football. But again, don't get down too much in this one. That's been one of the problems in the games they lost. They get down by multiple scores, and then they kind of have to get outside of themselves. They have to start doing things that are just not comfortable for the offense, and then the defense has got put too much pressure on it, and the defense can't come up with anything. So if you get a turnover, the defense, give your offense maybe some extra possessions. That would help a lot. But in the end, I think the biggest thing here is be efficient. You said it, Teddy Bridgewater, you can't turn the ball over.
And you got to play this one by the math, meaning you can't wildly decide to go for it on fourth down. You got to keep it a one-possession game. If kicking it does that, you keep kicking it. Like, you've got to play this one smart and by the math. Dallas is going to play it smart and by the math. So, and they frankly got a more talented roster right now.
That's what it looks like. All right, there you go. That is our breakdown of the Broncos and Cowboys. We'll come back next week with a full react of it. For Benjamin Allbright, I'm Ryan Edwards. Thanks for watching Broncos Country Tonight.